Alison Hartson is running for the Senate in California. She's, of course, running against Dianne Feinstein. And there have been some quarters where she managed to outraise not only Dianne Feinstein, but also Kevin De Leon, who's viewed as, her main challenger. And there's even been times where she's outraised both of them combined. Now, it needs to be said that she's raising money from small donors alone. Understand? So it's not no corporate PAC money. So it's just people like you who donate $10 to her, $20 to her, whatever it may be. And she's outraising based on that, and she's outraising with no coverage from corporate media. In fact, I can't tell you the number of times I've read articles on this race in California that don't even mention her. I've read articles where, like, for example, the California State Senate, refused to endorse Dianne Feinstein this time around. The articles on that mention that Kevin De Leon was running against her. No mention of Alison Hartson. Even though, again, by many metrics, she's doing better than the other two. Okay? So, and by the way, I think there's other people running as well. David Hildebrand, if I'm not mistaken, is running. He's another progressive running in the same race. He never gets mentioned either. So there's a clear establishment bias against these candidates. And, you know, in the past, I would have said it's not like an overt conspiracy. Now my opinion has changed on that. It is. And the reason I say that is, look at what Ed Schultz just said about what happened at MSNBC and his coverage of Bernie Sanders. The head of MSNBC called Ed Schultz 5 minutes before he was going to go to air to launch Bernie Sanders' campaign. And the head of MSNBC said, "You're not covering this." So we're talking about just an actual effort from the top down to suppress the actual left-wingers in the race. Not acceptable, not okay, definitely happening. So despite the fact that Alison Hartson is doing very well according to many metrics, and she's got a massive army behind her just rising up on the internet, she's not included in the polls on the race. I mean, that's like next level ridiculous. So look at this. "Unrig our elections," she tweeted. "Add your name to this petition and demand the establishment unrig the primary by opening polling to all candidates. Democracy depends on us knowing our options. It's happening here in California. It's happening everywhere. Hashtag enough is enough." So I'm going to leave the first link in the video description box is going to be the petition to get her on the poll, to get all the candidates on the poll, which is the right thing to do. Guys, they're in our face with it. Like, it's not subtle. It's not subtle. They try to tamp down on the candidates who would really threaten power, really threaten the status quo, really shake things up and change things. Alison Hartson was on a crusade recently during the bombing of Syria saying, "No, don't bomb Syria. That's wrong." And she tweeted the Noam Chomsky quote I bring up all the time. There's an easy way to stop terror. Stop participating in it. Wouldn't it be amazing to have a senator who quotes Noam Chomsky and who's not for offensive wars against countries that didn't attack us? She's been hammering Dianne Feinstein in ads on the issue of Medicare for All, for example. On the issue of tax cuts for the rich, Dianne Feinstein was for gutting the estate tax. Dianne Feinstein was for the Bush tax cuts. Dianne Feinstein was for most of the fucking free trade deals which outsourced jobs all around this country. Dianne Feinstein was for the Iraq War, for the Patriot Act. We're talking about a state, California, that's one of the most liberal states, and we have a Democratic politician from that state, a Democratic senator, who's one of the most right-wing senators there is. I mean, there was literally a question as to whether or not Joe Manchin or Dianne Feinstein is further right-wing. We had to ask that question. That's how bad Dianne Feinstein is. Well, now you have a candidate who's for Medicare for all, who's for free college, who's for a living wage, who's for ending the wars, who's for a New Deal, who's for legalizing marijuana all across this country, ending mass incarceration. And supposedly liberal outlets are just, who? What? No, it's only Kevin De Leon, a fake left-winger, and Dianne Feinstein. So, sorry, that's who. That's all we put in the poll. Those are the only options. You guys think those are the only options, right? Right? I hope you think that. That's what we're trying to make you think. It's on purpose. They're doing it on fucking purpose. Sign that petition. Get her on the poll. It's on us. I've mentioned this before, but Secular Talk, the 3 biggest states, New York, Texas, California, 3 biggest states with the most Secular Talk listeners. It's on us to try to win this race. It's on, because nobody's coming to save us. Nobody's coming to cover us. Nobody's putting us in the fucking polls. So how do you expect to win? The only way to win is word of mouth. The only way to win is getting out there and getting directly involved, because there is an establishment, an elite media, a status quo that is trying to circumvent the more popular candidate who they know would win if they were given a fair shake. They're not going to give us a fair shake, so we need to give ourselves a fair shake.